All right, now we're at the T in the meeting. All right, let's see. I'm just kind of waiting for my audio check to make sure that it is working. Cool beans. All right, got my confirmation, got my notification. I'm gonna shut that down. Let's go ahead and share our screen. Done. Screen share. Okay. All right. So welcome, gentlemen. Let me see as as usual, if there are people in the waiting room, I'll get them again. I'll check the attendance again in about 10 minutes at 2:15. So welcome, happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing well. Let me see as far as announcements. I don't know how my morning students felt, but I know I enjoyed this morning's lecture. I would encourage you just to listen, not necessarily, the math is fine, but just I would encourage you to like listen to this morning's presentation and just like some of the things that I was saying, because it's like I try to recreate it with you guys. It's just totally not possible. It's totally in the moment, and so it's not possible for me to recreate some of the messages that I share. Again, I would just encourage you to watch that and just see how you feel about it, and because it was interesting, at least to me. I don't know how the students felt because it's kind of hard to get you guys to talk, but I know I enjoyed it, so just check it out. But otherwise, what we're going to do, we are going to kind of progress as normal. Let me think about the things that that needs to be in your mind. So we have officially finished chapter 6, right? So we are ready for exam 3. Exam 3 will become available this upcoming Wednesday at the start of class, right? I think the exam will be available for 7 days, and it'll be due the following Wednesday at the start of class. It should be over chapter 6, sections 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. And then, so we have this week where we're just wrapping up 6.3 on geometric sequences and series. Next week is exam 3 over chapter 6. The following week is the last of the new material. It's going to be the supplemental section. It's 9.5, the binomial theorem, I think it is, and it comes from another text, right? So it's not in your book, but the material is loaded in the Pearson, right? So you can just kind of keep working as normal. And then after that week, I think we have 2 more weeks of meeting before the final. So that's 4 sessions, right? We have about 3 different sections in our book, give or take, that we've kind of been going throughout the semester. So what I want to do is like basically do a chapter a day, like reviewing for the final. The final is basically cumulative, everything from beginning to end. Also, as a reminder, we are rapidly approaching that hard deadline. So you definitely want to make sure, if you don't get anything else in order on Pearson, you definitely want to make sure you get your exams in order, right? That's the least amount of work for the most amount of points, right? Once your exams are where you want them to be, then you definitely want to, I would encourage you to, get your quizzes in order. The quizzes should be about 5 questions each, and it's about 10% of your overall grade. With that homework, just do the best you can with it. I don't want you worrying about trying to get everything submitted, because that's a whole lot of work for a little bit of points, right? As a reminder, the intent of the homework was really just to prepare you for the exams, right? So once the exams are out, that's where you want to put your energy and your effort, right? Let me see, there was something else that I'll have to mention it when it comes. So yeah, the hard deadline, and the idea is that basically the hard deadline is May 1st. It's Sunday night at 11:59, going into Monday morning. Once Monday hits, that's at the top of the week of finals, all right? So everything on Pearson's going to lock out. And then the only thing you're going to have access to at that time is the final exam. And again, the idea is that once you're done with the final, you're done with the class, right? So we don't want lingering, we don't want any lingering anything, right? So once you're done with the final, that's it. So that's why we have the hard deadline of May 1st, right? Hard deadline of May 1st. As always, as usual, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to unmute yourself or use the chat. I check the chat periodically. But the fastest, most effective way is just to unmute yourself during class. Again, because the idea is that class time is supposed to be used as like a Q&A or a study session. But I just kind of fill it with the lecture and homework, just so it's not so much dead air. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that's pertinent. Okay, guys, I'm proud of you guys. Keep working hard. If you need help, you just have to ask. Whatever kind of help you need, just ask. If you're quiet, closed mouth don't get fed. If you don't say anything, it's kind of hard for us to know that you need help, right? So, and then hopefully you all been working together. I think that's really the name of the game is cooperation and collaboration. This isn't a competition. This is a collaboration, right? That's what this is. That's what I encourage. Our collaborations over competition. Um, so hopefully you all been working together. You sought out the tutors and you've been working with the tutors. If it's on Pearson, if you have access to it, just sit down and work on it. It's okay. I just want you guys to get it submitted. Everybody doesn't get an A in this material with my setup, so that's why I keep doing it. If everybody was just blowing it out of the water, then obviously I would have to change it a little bit, but everybody doesn't. So, when I had teachers that did stuff like this, when I was in your shoes, I just took advantage of it and kept it moving. I don't know how good or bad it was, but I know that college had enough nonsense going on. So, I appreciate it when professors did stuff like that for me. Okay, so with that, let me check the time really quickly. Okay. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So, again, what I like to do cooler than I anticipated, but that's okay. Oh, I'm doing something a little bit different today. Usually, I'm not in my usual office. I'm like truly remote. Like I'm sitting in a park right now, using my hotspot, and I got my tablet. Using the hotspot on my phone, and so and the idea, like I'm excited because the idea or intent behind remote teaching for me personally, I always had this vision of like being on a beach, and holding a lecture just like this. And then I was like, okay, guys, enjoy your weekend. And I shut my laptop down and I'm already on the beach. Like, wherever it is I want to be. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm not wasting time like commuting. And then, that whole commuting thing, I mean, it takes away like anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours of my day every day. And it's like if I had an 8 o'clock class, I would have to get up at like 4:30 in the morning just to get everywhere on time to get everything set up. It was so draining. It was so draining. So for me personally, this is way better. And like the anxiety that you feel, trust me, if we were meeting in person, I don't know that it would be any better. Like, because even when we were meeting in person, the students were still having a hard time with me and my energy and the presentation and math and all of it. Right. So at least this way, if I'm calm, I know that it's like, I'm an amplifier energetically. So if I'm calm, then I can amplify that calm nature of others. Come here. Come here. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Come here. Come here. It's okay. So, like I said, I'm sitting in the park. So she's my puppet. She's my lookout. Right? She lets me know that anything moves within like a 20-foot radius or whatever. Okay, so she's my alarm system. But okay. So with that, let me just check. Yeah. Let me check. Okay, we lost a lot of people, but that is okay. We don't have any people there. What we're going to go ahead and kind of work through the homework associated with section 6.3. So with chapter 6 has been on like sequences and series, right? I think 6.1, we kind of introduced this notion of a sequence and a series and like just some ideas there. 6.2, we're on arithmetic sequences, right? Where we had a common difference and we were adding the same thing each time. So those are special case of sequences where, again, we had a common difference and we were adding the same thing each time. And then in section 6.3 is on geometric sequences and series, and that's where we were multiplying the same thing each time, right? So with this question comes from section 6.3. It's question number 1 from the back of the text. And it asks us to determine whether the sequence is geometric. If it is, find the common ratio, right? So if we look at this, right, the first term is 7. The second term is 49, right? So for this sequence to be geometric, we need to be multiplying the same thing each time. So 7 times 7 is 49. Hey Siri, what's 49 times 7?
49 times 7 is 343.
All right, so hey Siri, what's that answer times 7? Hey Siri, what's that answer times 7?
343 times 7 is 2,401.
Right, so we can see that we started our first term is 7, and then the subsequent terms are found by multiplying the previous term by 7, right? So is f a geometric sequence? We're going to say yes. And go final check, right? So we're just kind of having this dialogue to get context and background. What's the common ratio? So again, we're multiplying each term by 7. We're going to go with that. Next question. Totally should have got my jacket, but it's okay. It's in the car. I just got it. So determine whether the following sequence is geometric. If it is, find the first term and the common ratio, right? So to go from the first to the second, it looks like we multiply by -4. And then 12 times -4, 48, right? And then 48 times -4, 4 times 4, that's going to be 160 plus 32, 192, right? So it looks like we're multiplying by -4 each time. So for part A, we're going to say the sequence is geometric where the first term is 3. Somehow I hit absolute value. The first term is 3, and the common ratio is -4. -4. Boom. All right, next question. Okay. So determine whether the following sequence is geometric. If it is, find the first term in the common ratio. With something like this, my recommendation, just list out like about 4 or 5, list out the first 4 or 5 terms in the sequence, right? And then just do what we did in the previous example. So let's start by getting a copy of this guy. We want to take it from like here to here, here. And we're going to take this. Right here. All right. So, okay, so let's list out the first few terms, like about the first 5 or so terms of the sequence. So for instance, when n is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, -4 to the power of 0 is 1. So the first term is 1. When n is 2, it's going to be -4. When n is 3, -4 squared is what, 16? So it's positive 16. When n is 4, -4 to the power of 3 is going to be -40 plus 24, 64, right? So on and so on, right? So it looks like we're multiplying by -4 each time. The first term is 1, and then we keep multiplying by -4. Notice how the sign is alternating, right? Okay. So then is the sequence geometric? We're going to go with A. The sequence is geometric, but the first term is 1, and the common ratio is -4. I might have to take a break and get my jacket. I mean, I guess I could switch sides and sit in the sun. That might fix it, because I am sitting in the shade. Come on, let's switch sides. Oh. That is better. Okay. It's a little bit harder to see, but that's okay. So determine whether the following sequence is geometric. If it is, find the first term and the common ratio. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Just list out the first few terms of this sequence and then decide from there. So let's start by getting a copy of this guy. Okay. We're going to take that right here. Let's go ahead and see this. All right. All right. So for instance, when n is 1, we're going to have 2 to the power of 0. So that result is 1. So the first term is 1. When n is 2, we're going to have 2 to the power of 1. So that result is 2. When n is 3, 2 squared is what, 4. When n is 4, 2 to the 3 is 8, right? So it looks like we're multiplying by 2 each time. Let's do one more. When n is 5, 2 to the 4 is 16, so on and so on, right? So that one should be clear. All right, so the first term is 1, and it looks like we're multiplying by 2 with each step. So this is we're going to say for the first term is 1, and the common ratio is 2. Okay. And again, as always, if anything is not clear, just feel free to unmute yourself and stop me to get my attention, or just type it in the chat, right? Let me check Zoom really quickly. It's looking like over there. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and talk to myself, right? So if nobody's there, if you're in the 2 p.m., I will redirect you to my session with the morning class, right? So you're always welcome to watch that. Again, we do have a remote asynchronous course, so it's okay. Let me do one more. Yeah, let's go ahead and do one more, and then I'm going to go ahead and if nobody shows up. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Okay. So determine whether the following sequence is geometric. If it is, find the first term and the common ratio, right? I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of what happened this morning. I'm going to say this one is not geometric. Check the answer. Next question. Okay, the first term is 2. It looks like we're multiplying by 3 each time, so the common ratio is 3. All right. And the nth term, right? And so the nth term of a geometric sequence is going to be a1 times r to the power of n minus 1. So in this case, that's going to be 2 times 3 to the power of n minus 1. Okay. And I think we could submit it like this. We could simplify this to 2/3, but I'm going to just go with this. So the first term is 0.4. The common ratio, it looks like we're multiplying by what, -2 each time? -2. And so then the nth term, that's going to be 0.4 times this. 0.4 times -2 to the power of n minus 1. So that means we will be dividing by -2. I'm tempted to leave it like this. Let's just leave it like this and see what it says, right? We're gonna go with this. Okay, so let me check Zoom one more time. So I don't think we have anybody in the waiting room and nobody's hanging around, so I'm not gonna talk to myself. So with that, we're gonna end the session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, guys, take care. Peace.